anybody got up this early to come here and speak. So I'm very, very grateful. My good friend Rosanna has heard me speak, so I could give her the clicker. And then my good friend Christine Shen, who is one of the speakers,
Oh,
she's a customer
okay,
service
okay.
expert. She could do this too, so they can sleep. The rest of you can't, but they can sleep. Now I want to tell you a little secret. I'm going to use a PowerPoint, but you don't get to see it. Because the wall didn't, somebody said the wall didn't work, there's no screen, whatever. But this is my #1 tip for you as a speaker. Put pictures on your screen and put it on a table in front of you. And when the big screen is back here and everybody's watching it, you click and your outline of pictures is on the screen. Okay, was that word coming forward this morning? And get all the words off of your PowerPoint. So, what have you been doing ever since I just opened my mouth?
What have we been doing?
Yes, what have you been doing ever since I stood here and opened my mouth?
Well, listening to you.
Who said listening?
I
Right
did.
over here. Yes, you did. What is your name?
Susan.
Susan, you can have a cake pop, okay? Any
Thank you.
flavor that you want. All right, you stay over here at this table. Did you all say something? You said, all right, we'll give you one for a second listening. All right, what else? What else have you been doing? You have been doing something else. You've been eating. Mommy, that doesn't count.
I don't eat anymore.
All right, so what else have you been doing?
Taking notes.
Taking notes. I haven't even said anything yet.
I just love the cake.
I just want the cake. I just want the cake. I was asking questions like this at a women's conference out in Virginia, and after a few of these, and people saw that they got cake pops, the woman in the back said, "What do I have to do to get a cake pop?" I just threw her one. So, why did I give you the cake pops? Because I want you to learn something here. I ask the questions, you answer, you get a treat. See how that works? So you have to play along today. So what have you been doing? You still haven't answered this question exactly right.
Putting a judgment on what you want to say.
Well, yes, sir. You can have the whole basket. Judging. Can you see this? Can you see it?
The dust?
I think you have been playing Judge Judy. And the reason I think you've been playing Judge Judy is because you're listening to this voice and you're saying, she sounds just like my mother. How am I going to listen to that? Or you're saying, did she really comb her hair this morning? Can I learn anything from somebody with that hair color? And what about her posture? She's not even standing up straight. I want you to go like this if I don't stand up straight. It's the bane of my existence. And you are asking these questions, and that makes you, more often than not, freak out, get whacked out when you hear you have to make a presentation in front of people. Am I right? Because you know they're judging you too. So take a look at this little book. This little book is not a brochure about Jan Fox. It's practice plans that you can use to get better at speaking. But if you turn to page 4, there's a whole list of reasons. It's the Fox Fear and Loathing of Public Speaking Floss Test. So if you take a look at this, how many of you would just click off, maybe you might be concerned about only 0 to 2 of these. Only 0 to 2. Oh, good. Good, I got live ones here. They're scared. They're scared. Where the heck did you go? Okay. They're scared of talking. All right, if you only have to click off 0 to 2, you just look at the book once, look at the practice plans once, you'll be fine. Now, tell the truth, how many of you would have to click off at least 3 to 6 of them? Okay. Now we're talking. You do the practice plans every day for 21 days in a row. You know why I said 21? Because the golf pro told me that if I used a sand wedge and hit it a certain way in my backyard for 21 days in a row, I would have no fear of bunkers. I have no fear of bunkers, so I figure you'll have no fear of speaking. It's a scientific extrapolation or something there. Algorithm that I did. And then how many of you would have to click off 7 to 10?
Are there 10?
I don't know, are there 10? There
are 10.
Yes, there are 10. I see those hands. So this is the only commercial of the day. See this little smiley face over here? You 7 to 10ers, you call me for coaching and we'll talk, okay? But really, when you think about it, there are even more than this. I could make you list a whole bunch more reasons about why you would not like to stand up here and do this. But I believe this is the most important thing I'm going to say all day. Public speaking, doing what I'm doing right now, is the #1 way to grow your business. Whether you're a jewelry appraiser, a State Farm insurance, a customer service expert, a sign-a-rama guy, public speaking is the fastest way to grow your business. Now, why would I say that? There's social media, you can do all of that stuff, and you're supposed to do that, and I do a lot of it. But why is this the fastest way to grow your business?
Because you become the expert.
Well, you've seen me, and you know I know a little something by the end of this, maybe, and I might be the only person who can help you do this that you know because you've seen me and experienced me, so I might be the only number you call. See how this works? Now, you might say, what am I going to talk about? Jewelry appraiser, State Farm, sign-a-rama, what do you do, ma'am?
I'm a landscaper.
A landscaper. I have a 20-minute talk template. 4 points, 4 stories, you're done. Don't tell any fancy experts on keynote speaking that I made it so simple. They want you to think they've studied and starved themselves working day and night to put together this humongous speech. Well, they have, really. But there's also a very simple way to do it. And I can show you that. In fact, if you take out your phones, I'm not kidding, you take out your phone, and you put in KiwiLive.com, K-I-W-I live.com, KiwiLive.com. It will ask you for your name, and I think your email, and then it will ask you for my Kiwi, and my Kiwi is Fox Talks. So are you there yet where they've asked for the Kiwi? Where are you? Are you almost there? KiwiLive.com. And then you put in what they ask for, your name, and I think your email address. And then it says Kiwi, and you put in Fox Talks. And up pops my PowerPoint, all kinds of templates that I've got in there for you, top tips I've got in there. It's all right there at your fingertips. So you can look at that little 20-minute talk outline, and you can be doing this for Kurt next week. Okay, 2 weeks from now. Okay? So speaking is the #1 way to grow your business. I want to give you one tip for getting rid of your fear in a hurry. There's almost always a lectern when you go to speak. Well, get rid of that thing. And because when you're behind that, it breeds fear. And when you're standing in your little speaker box out here and not moving, that breeds total nervousness. They're all looking at me. But watch what happens. If I don't come here as the expert, but I just come here as one of you, standing here sharing a little bit of what I know, then it takes the fear out. Now, if I were a mean person, I would make you stand up, stand in your speaker box, and then take a step out of it. I'm not going to do that yet because I want you to stand up for something else later. I don't want you to hate me too much. But do this with your arms. Stick your arms out like this. Now kind of turn around and look at the group so you can do that, and kind of stick your arms out like that. All right, now you all look pretty crazy. Kurt, where's the camera? Here's what I'm telling you to do. I want you to learn to just embrace your crowd. Some people have even paid money to come here to hear me. You practice, okay? Extra $1 for hearing me. I don't know how that works. But people want to know what you have to say. So if somebody says, I've got 10 tips or 4 tips on how to appraise your jewelry. Bring your stuff and I'll do blah, 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 blah. Who would show up? I would show up. If somebody says, 5 tips to find out if you have the right car insurance. Anybody show up? There you go. Anybody have a broken pipe? 5 tips to keep your house from having to file an insurance claim during snow squalls. See how it works? You can do this. So it's the #1 way to grow your business, and all you have to do is learn to embrace your audience, and you're just one of them sharing what you know. I'm going to give you what I call some speak tweaks, little teeny tiny micro actions that can maximize your impact, little tiny things. You've heard them all before. I hope that I will do them differently for you. Let's see. The first one is, what do you think is 200 calories, comes on a stick? Cake pop! Okay, did you get one yet? Yes,
I
you
did,
got
but
one.
this was my daughter, and he was the son.
Oh, you need one? Oh, well, here we go. See how easy I am. I'm just easy. The reason I'm doing this is those cannot go home in my car. Okay? Right now, they can't go So I'm showing you this cake pop for a very specific reason. Anybody ever buy those big Starbucks apple fritters that have those divots and holes filled with that ooey gooey white stuff? I would ask for the ones that have the most divots. Remember those? You can't find them anymore. You notice how puny their Good Morning muffins used to be this big? Now they're this big. What do you think happened to their pastry sales when we all got health conscious?
Right down the tubes.
Down the tubes. Very good. I didn't have the whole thing. Down the tubes, exactly. Starbucks puts 2 bites of cake on a stick. They tell us it's only 200 calories so that we can feel very self-righteous eating that little thing. It's only 200 calories. And it's only $2. What do you think has happened to their pastry sales? And if you go today, you'll see a lot of what they call the petites, the petite vanilla bean thing and the petite oat cherry, Michigan cherry things. The petite half brownie. So, and the new caramel chocolate thing. That's really good. So yes, their pastry sales have skyrocketed because of a little thing. So I think if you speak better, you can sell more, bottom line. You speak better, sell more, bottom line. And how do you do that? By tweaking a few little things. And I talked to a lot of you before we started this, and I can tell that you don't need a major overhaul. So a few tweaks will do you. I'm absolutely certain of that. So the first thing you need to think about is public speaking is not talk radio. They can see you. Did you know that? If you stand behind me, they can see you. So you have to pay attention to what I call your visual rhythm. Give me a description, a one-word description of my visual rhythm already.
Confident.
Oh, I would have said wacky, but confident I'll take. I have these big gestures and I'm doing this. So I have a certain style. Would you stand up? Your name is?
Tina.
Tina, stand up. Now, look, turn around. Look, she stood right up. Is she elegant? Does her belt look fabulous? Is her hair perfectly coiffed? Now, would she look right standing up here, waving her arms and pointing at everybody and doing it as big as I do?
Yes.
Yes, she would. You disproved my point. Thank you very much. You may have no cake pops. Have a seat. Take one. You take your big one. My point is, we each have a different comfort zone for our visual rhythm. But what we're doing with our bodies has to match what we're doing with our words. So where do you spend all of your time working on your talks?
Mirror.
Well, that would be a very good thing to do. What you do is spend all your time worrying about the words you're going to say. Does that sound familiar?
Yes.
It's all about the words. How many words can I fit in 5 minutes? How many words can I fit in 20 minutes? And we forget that this is a huge part of our likability factor. In fact, there's a study that says our likability factor is made up of 3 things: voice tone, body language, and words. What percentage of 100% would you give words for your likability factor? 7%. What about your voice tone? Help me with my math. 38. 38. Your body language is 50%, 55% of your likability factor. So we have to get comfortable in our bodies to do this kind of speaking. And you know what? If you think about it, when you go to the bar, if you came over here this evening to the bar and you were talking to a friend, your hands would be flying. You would be saying, I went fishing the other day. That fishing hole was only 10 feet deep, but I'm telling you, they were this big in here. Whatever you're talking about. I saw a woman's ring. It was 10 carats the other day. I'm telling you, it was huge. You'd be doing that. You wouldn't be saying, well, I was at a fishing hole the other day and I saw a big fish and I saw a big ring and I thought, this is unnatural. This is natural. So you just be yourself, depending on the audience, only bigger than you are when you're standing at the bar. So your visual rhythm is very important. Here's how I know that. Can I be a little politically incorrect?
Of course,
Just a
please.
little.
Of course.
Yes, please. I was with my granddaughter and a bunch of family members, and I'm going to show off. She's 2. I'm going to show off how smart she is, and I'm going to have her repeat the things from our little Cinderella book. So what did Cinderella say when she couldn't go to the ball? damn it. To which my ex-husband, her grandpa, says, nice, Jan. I said, Kate, where did you learn that big word? My daddy? Well, good, it's the other side of the family. But she knew right away that Cinderella wasn't happy, and guess what? You did too, didn't you? Before she ever said that word. You knew Cinderella was mad that she couldn't go, and she could have said sugar pops, which I wish she had said instead of that other word. But even little ones know that if they want your attention, they use their bodies, not just their words. So think about that, because that's the scariest part of the speaking in public. You're going to do fine with your words, but the scariest part is, what do I do with all of this? So now let's talk about our posture. I said the posture word, so I'm going to ask you to stand up now. So I told you. And I know you because I said the P word, you're all going to stand up so straight. Are you all standing up really straight? Oh, wow. Take a look at them. Don't they look confident? What I want you to do is give me your posture at rest.
Let it go. Let it go.
Here's mine. All right, so now on the other foot. This is your posture at rest. Now, if I'm not really careful, I slide into this as a speaker. But I want you to do one thing. Just lift a half an inch. Just lift from right here, half an inch, maybe 2 inches. I saw it come into your body. What just happened to your bodies? What did you just feel come into your body? Air. What else? Confidence. Confidence. And some people usually say power. So do it again at rest. Give me your power pose here. Okay. Good. You all look better. And not only that, but you look skinnier because you lose 5 pounds if you stand up straight. It's worth it for me, okay? So have a seat. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Big question. Anybody worried?
I never talk with my hands, do I?
A little bit. Little bit.
So what I say is your hands follow your words. I'm going to show you what I mean. Somebody calls these the dreaded hangers. What I do with my dreaded hangers, they just hang there. Say everybody. Everybody. Over in Pittsburgh. Yeah, well, looking at you, I can't tell where the heck Pittsburgh is. But you get the idea, right?
Yeah.
Over at the bar. Don't act like you want to go there right now. All right? And then what about driving up the pike? What about, oh, my little kid he is so into basketball. Now, I didn't know he's so into basketball. He is so into basketball. Doesn't that help you see the word as I'm saying it? What else can we think of? Let's pretend you have a numbers issue in your business. I know that's not true. But you say to your staff, we can't keep going with these numbers. Do that for me too. We can't keep going with these numbers. It's very different from saying we can't keep going with these numbers, isn't it? See how important these hands are? They just follow your words. Now, I was working with the CEO of she was 32 years old and the CEO of a credit union. I thought, how did she do that? First of all, she was like you, very elegant, very stately. And she wanted a little coaching to be a more confident speaker. And I said, well, let's just start with a story so I could see her tell her story. And she spoke like this. Now, what are you thinking that I look like? A bird. A bird, a duck. What came to my mind was penguin. Now, I cannot tell this gorgeous creature that she looks like a penguin. So I said, you know, this story's really good. Let's just do a little video. I'll just do it on my iPhone. We video it. She looks at the video and she says, oh my God, I look just like a penguin. Yes. When she saw it, she could fix it. So whenever you're getting ready to go do some speaking, do a little video, and what you see that you don't like, you have time to fix before you get there. So I said, you can't keep going like this. And then there's another one. There's a woman out in Chantilly who's also the president of an employment staffing firm. Gorgeous woman too. And has an incredible personal story. So she gets invited to speak that. And she speaks like this. And so now I look like a recording. Oh, you know, I played the accordion, try not to picture this. I played the accordion and sang on street corners while my daddy preached, so I hadn't had the word accordion before, okay? I think more like a Tyrannosaurus Rex or something, right? And I said, we can't do what? Barney. Barney, say Barney. I can't sing any better now than I could then. All right, so now stick your arms on your elbows on your rib cage, and just do this for a minute. Now, for some of you, tell the truth. That's feeling very comfortable as a way you might speak. But watch what happens if you, what?
It feels unnatural to me.
Unnatural?
Yes.
Good, okay. So but take your elbows off your rib cage and see what happens. See what happens? You go from here, stuck, speaker prison, to here, open. So all you have to do is just let yourself grow to your fullest potential, whatever that might be. I have one more I want to show you, and that is, I worked for Billy Casper Golf for 5 years. I still do a lot of work on call for them. And do not raise your hand and say you won't repeat this anymore. There's a vice president, and he talks like this. So he's talking to his team, and he's saying, now what we're going to do is we've got a new system here, it's a new policy. And I'm thinking, how can I fix that?
How does he do it?
I had to learn how to, I had to practice this, okay? I hope you appreciate it. I spent a long time practicing this. So I said, what am I going to do? He's not coachable. He doesn't like to be told anything about himself. And so when he left the room, all the spiky-haired boys that work out there said, there goes old chicken wing. Oh, Lordy. So he even has a name to go with this. And I do not know what they heard him say, but I know what they saw. And it was not a match. So those are just a few things that I want you not to do. Now, what about eye contact? What have you heard about eye contact?
You should make eye contact with your audience.
good
Absolutely,
software.
you should. And how, did anybody tell you how you should do that?
Look like at the top of the head.
Look at the top of their heads. And Chris tells the story of a group of children. They were learning to do eye contact, and so to help them, they put a dot here. The principal comes in, and they stuck. He wanted a dot too, and had no idea why. So he walks around all day with a dot, because this is kind of a safety zone they were teaching the children. What else? Have you heard the back of the wall? Back wall. Just look at the back wall. They'll think you're looking at them. Now, just kind of hover above their heads. You don't really have to look in their eyes. Does anybody feel connected to me as I'm talking to you like
No.
this?
No.
Raise your hand if you think I've looked directly at you at least once. Thank you. The periphery is hard for me. The periphery is hard for me. And the people in the back corner are what we call in my old business backlit. You look dark because the background behind you is so white. So I can't quite see the dots in their eyeballs. But I saw this at the giant grocery store just down the street. And I said, wow, how does she do that? That's the most intense eye contact I've ever seen. How does she do that? So she's looking at you, right? Is she looking at you, Robbie?
Yes.
How does she do that? Now, if she's looking at Robbie, is she looking at you guys? Mm-hmm.
Yes.
She's got your number over here, yes, okay. Yes. And then I thought it was just a fluke, but I found this one. She does the same thing. And nobody else, if you look at all the magazine covers at the giant grocery store, some look vacuous, some look flirty, but I've never seen one. Jennifer Lopez comes close, but there's not one that has this kind of intensity coming off the page. Well, I want you to have it. And here's how I tell you to have it. I didn't realize until I saw this magazine about the black eyeball dots. Is there an optometrist in the crowd? Are those the pupils? No. What's the little bitty dot, little bitty thing? Is that the pupil? Pupils. I didn't stay awake in that class. So I don't go around telling people to look at anybody else's pupils, but I do say look at the black eyeball dots. Because if I'm trying to get to your black eyeball dots, I'm definitely hitting your eyeballs. But if I'm just trying to get to your eyes, I'm hitting everything. But if I'm really focusing on those black eyeball dots, guess what? You feel connected, right? Does it feel a little embarrassing if I stay here a little too long? Well, good, but I'm not looking away until she does. When she looks away, that's okay. I'll look away too. But I'm going to stay there. I'm going to stay for that connection as long as he's there. I'm going to stare right at his black eyeball dots. This is the best bonus of this. You know how I give you that 5-pound bonus? here's the memory bonus. If I listen to him, if I listen to you, if I listen to you as you're speaking, I remember more of what you say. And I need all of that I can get with hair this color. So I say practice looking at those black eyeball dots. But here's another thing. Robbie, how tall are you?
6.
6. Okay, well, I'm sure not. So can I get you to stand up for me? Watch this. When Robbie looks at my eyes, he still leaves his chin up. And how does, oh, now he's really got it up. So how does he look talking to me? Down here. When he's got his chin up. How does he look?
Superior, wow.
Superior. And
Sure.
cocky, does he look cocky doing that? And ladies, how do we like guys who look down their noses at us?
We don't.
We don't. And we don't listen, and we don't want to know what they have to say, even if it can help us. So
Mr.
watch
Tame.
this. We have to, and if I'm standing here looking at him like this, how do I look?
Subservient.
Yeah, my husband says I ain't got that in my body. I ain't got that. But here's the deal. We need to be face to face. So, so just lower your face. Oh, good. Wait, you guys laugh, but he did something natural that's natural. You can lean in. You can just lean in.
See, guys, don't laugh at me.
Yeah.
I'm already nervous out here.
Okay, so now just bring your face down a little bit. There you go, not that much right there. Perfect. And I'm bringing mine up to him, but I'm not going to cocky either. So in order to do really good eye contact when you're standing up, you have to match face to face. So no more looking at the top of my head. You can have a seat. Give him a round of applause.
Yeah.
After I embarrass him. So now what about your voice tone? If I talk like this the whole day, just like
No
this, like I'm
monotone.
doing right, monotone, who can listen to that? But here's another thing. You know people who start down here and they end their sentences up? And they start I really did have a good time. It makes me feel like I need to pat them on their head, like they're looking for some kind of approval for what they're saying, you know what I mean? Well, that turns into a pattern. Down, up, down, up, down, up. And that turns into a flat line. Then I have a guy who starts up here to do his sentence, and every last one of the sentences fell on his shoes. In my book, I call him my shoe drooler. He just drooled on his shoes when he got to the end of the sentence. So I said to him, Brian, see there is a dot on the back wall, and I want you to throw the end of a sentence to the back wall. So he sounded a little weird for a while, but at least he got the end of the sentences, and I knew what he was going to say. So I get a call from him after a day of training. Foxy, I'm going to ask Janet to... What? I'm going to ask Janet to... Well, can you just finish the sentence? Remember the dot, throw it to the dot. I'm going to ask Janet to marry me. I said, for God's sake, she needs to hear the end of this sentence. Now, I have no idea what happened or how he got it done, but they're married and they have the cutest little baby. So, but that kind of pattern also turns into a flat line. Have you figured out mine? I have one too. Have you figured out my pattern? What is it?
Put emphasis at the end.
Well, if I do that, I'm going to go home and watch the video again. Okay. What else do I do?
Are you kind of even?
Yeah, I don't want to be. I have shouted in here. I've been like this. But if that goes in a pattern, if I'm going like this, like this, like this, and then I'm getting excited about something, and then I'm not getting, I'm getting down here about something. If I go in that pattern, I turn into even too. And it makes me mad because I work so hard not to do that. So, you have to work very hard, not just to have your sentence have a little bit of lilt in it like this and put good emphasis on the right word, because that turns into this. But you have to think about blocks of things you're talking about. If I'm telling you the story of my mom, who was pretty rough, and my little round house, I can go down here. But if I'm telling you about the lady who looked like a penguin, I can go up here. So here's what I say. Volume makes all the difference in whether or not you are monitored. So So increase your volume for some things, but not just every other word in the sentence. Lower your volume. Now, where did I whisper before? Does anybody remember where I actually whispered something? I said, she looks like a penguin. I can't tell her she looks like a penguin. And then I shouted something. You know, remember what I shouted?
I look like a penguin.
Yeah,
She
she
said.
looked at that and said, I look like a penguin. Well, guess what? That is your range of volume in a talk, in a 20-minute talk. You can imitate somebody loudly. You can say, now think about this. Just think about this. If we just did this, we would see the green arrow go up. Or you could say, look guys, it's pretty simple. All we have to do is this, and that green arrow shoots through the roof. Do either one of those look weird or sound unnatural coming from me? You don't expect it. You expect me to stand here and right? But you can have that kind of range, and it keeps people from saying that word. The last thing we want to be is monotone. So we have to work it, not agree. Now you all know people who have a very bad habit. It's stall language. It keeps people from hearing what you're going to say next. Got any idea what it could be? Yeah, who said that? Yeah. Yes, I have a guy that I've worked with. His wife called me and said, Foxy, you need my husband. He needs you. I said, does he know he needs me? What's the deal here? She said, he's got to stop his ums. And I knew what she was talking about. So here's what you do. You know, like. You know, and like the same thing. See these lips? We remember her eyes for eye contact. Remember these lips? Shut your mouth. If you know you are an ummer, just shut your mouth. If it's shut, see? So when do we do an we do it in two places at least. When do we do an Why do we do it?
We're trying to remember our next thought.
Exactly. So why can't you just remember with your mouth shut? So I said to him, look, I want you to go home and I want you to say to your wife tonight, Linda, I'm working with Jen. You know she wants me to stop my ums. And so I have to shut my mouth while I'm thinking about what I'm going to say. She says I'm going to look stupid for a couple days, but I'll get it. I'm going to get it. So a couple days later, I see him walking down the hall to his assistant, who's right here, and I'm walking this way. And I hear him say, Deborah, I'm working with Jan. She wants me to stop these ums. So I have to shut my mouth while I'm thinking. What do you think she did? Burst out laughing. Burst out laughing. I said, Deborah, what do you see? She said, he looks like an idiot. You can't call him an idiot, he's your boss. Well, he looks like an idiot anyway. But that man wanted it, and today he is on the PGA Speakers Bureau list, and he speaks all around the world on the state of the golf industry. No ums. He just was the keynote speaker for all of Golf Channel at their huge annual meeting. The reviews were unbelievable. And he didn't do one He made me critique the video afterwards. Okay. No ums. So you can do it. If you want to break that habit, if you want to break the like habit, if you want to break the you know habit, here are two ways to do it. Or two places when you do it. When you don't know what you're going to say next, just shut your mouth. The second one is who, what, why, where, when, how. When somebody asks you a question, if you said, what did you do last night for dinner? It would probably be, what are you going to do this weekend? What are you going to do tonight? So if you hear a question coming, shut your mouth and leave it shut until you get the answer ready. Because it doesn't look weird to do this a little bit, as much as it looks weird to go And it only takes you 3 or 4 days to fix it if you really practice. So if you know you're an ummer, I won't say raise your right hand, but you nod so I know you're promising to fix that, okay? What? No. So here's another thing. Have I had any passion about what I'm doing up here?
Yes.
Do I love it?
Yes.
I do with all my heart. And here's why. You cheat yourself if you don't do this. You're cheating your company if you don't do this. So I want you to be good at this. So I got so excited about it. I was working at Agilex, which is IT company out on Route 50 somewhere. It's like going to Kansas to me on the other side of the river. And the guy this team was meeting with the TSA for a huge contract possibility. And I've been working with this VP who needs to take more command in his meetings, take more command of the room with his bosses, and of course, with his clients. He said, do you think it would be all right if I told a personal story? I said, yes. So he said, well, here it is. I was living in New York City. I wasn't there, but I was there shortly after 9/11. And that just stayed with me for days. And then they talked about starting this new entity called TSA. And I decided right then that I wanted to be on the ground level in the framework of the TSA, building algorithms that would keep this from happening ever again in our country. Did anybody just get a little goosebump? I got a goosebump when that guy told me that. So we worked on that story. So it was precise, short, not all the details. It was 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and then this thought came to me, and I thought about it for 6 days. Just a precise story. He told that story. Oh, I meant to leave out my phone so I could tell you what happened. I got a call on email from his boss, Jan. Apparently, Ruben told a personal story about working with the TSA, and I understand the TSA agent, who was the decision maker on the team, hugged him at the end of the meeting. We can't thank him enough. We have another meeting this Friday to follow up. So he told that story with passion. It wasn't loud like me, yay, yay, yay passion, was it? It was a kind of a low passion that built. So I think passion can come from different places in your body. I think sound different. And you have to use every one of those in your first 20-minute talk. Okay. The first one is yay, yay, yay. How many of you have been in a place where a good sign would have made a big difference? Okay, I'm doing yay, yay, yay passion. Then here's the next one. The next one is thinking passion. Think about it. Think about it. If we worked on this together, we can get it. We can get this. We're thinking about it. Hear it? We're thinking about it together. And then here's one. We can't keep going like this. So you can be indignant about things in a meeting and use that angry voice. And then here's one more. I like this one. Got such a secret. It's inside of it. I want to tell you just this one little tip. So is that passionate? Yes. Are you surprised that all of those are passionate? You know it when you see it, don't you? Would you have thought it when somebody said, go be passionate about your topic? I'm not so sure, right? So think about that. And then the last thing I'm going to say is it's all about the stories. I can think of at least 2 things you're going to remember from what I said today. What are What's the first thing that comes to your mind if I ask you about what I might have said or what story I might have told? Penguin. Penguin, absolutely.
Your granddaughter.
Yes, the D word, the big D word. And now the TSA story. So those stories make you remember the tip behind the story. So it doesn't make any sense to put 5,000 words on a PowerPoint slide and stand there and read all the slide bullets when you could just make little charts or something with even no words. Let me just show you backwards a little bit. Here's my passion slide. That one needed words. Shut your mouth. You get the lips first. You get the lips first and you wonder why they're sitting there for a minute until I say, shut your mouth. So it's the stories, it's the pictures, and it's your visual rhythm that make all the difference when you're speaking. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to take this little book, hold it over your heart.
I promise.
Raise your right hand. I hereby solemnly swear
I hereby solemnly swear
to do all the practice plans for 21 days in a row.
21 days in a row.
And call me when you're ready to build that talk, because you all can do this. Every last one of you can do this. So questions. I'm not afraid of Q&A. You shouldn't either. Yes.
What do you do with your hands when you're
when you're listening to us right now, you're, oh,
I mean, I'm holding something, so that'd be
Yeah.
me, but if I'm standing face to face with you and I'm the listener.
okay, I'll be the listener and you ask me the question. Ask me that question again.
So Jan, where do you live?
Oh, I was ready to answer that other question. I didn't mean for this to be trickery.
What do you do with your hands when you're listening?
Well, what am I doing?
You're just standing there with your hands.
They're just hanging there, just like that. Now, I lost a little weight so I can feel a hip bone, so one of it can sit on a hip bone if I wanted to. But also, when you said, where do you live, ask me that again.
Where do you live?
Oh, I just finished her question with my gesture. Oh, just down the street. But it's perfectly okay. But where you're sitting, I'm not going to make you stand up again, but where you're sitting, just let them hang here for a second. Let them hang down here. Yeah. Doesn't it feel awkward? But guess what? The way you're going to learn to talk is they're going to be doing things and they only have to wait here while somebody asks you a question at the end of the And if you stop in the middle of a sentence to say something, they fall down. And then it's time to pick them up and make them follow your words again. And that answer it. Okay? I want to answer a question Mommy told me. He said, somebody tells me I can only talk for 5 minutes to an executive because they're busy. Well, I basically think that's okay, but I never put a number to it. But here's what you do. Here's what Ruben did to win a second meeting with the TSA. We built internal teases into every paragraph or so of his talk. So he's got all these charts that show algorithms that were how they could figure out how many border crossing guards needed an electronic gizmo to do their, I can't even begin to understand it. Oh, have you ridden on the train and you've seen that the conductors come around now with an electronic thing instead of just taking a ticket? Well, Agilex helped them design that piece of equipment and design the whole software in it to be able to do that and save the Amtrak bazillions of dollars. All right, so he's telling these stories, and he's got charts and pictures. And he would say, so of course we built a big algorithm behind this, and I could go into detail on that if we have another chance to talk. I'm just doing a cursory overview for you now, but then also take a look at what we did for Amtrak. We put together this gizmo that's got a name, and it's actually saved them millions of dollars. And what you're looking for with the scanners for your people in the airport can have this same kind of algorithm. So we can talk about how that works. Now see, those are what I call internal teases.
Okay, Jen, we're going to have to wrap up.
Okay.
I want to make sure I give a little time for them to say hello to everyone.
Thank you, thank you.
Let's hear it for Jan Fox.